All right. Did I? Oh, hold on. I gotta full
Good.
screen it.
Good.
There we go. There we go. Chat's working. They can see you. We're here. What's going on?
Hey. Can you hear me?
I think I'm showing that you're coming through. How does she sound, guys? Is she sounding okay?
Okay. They can see
and hear you.
Yay.
Yo, Wins, what's going on? Question 1, how did you get your start? Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're definitely gonna figure all that stuff out. So I came across Lady Desiree through Kick, which is crazy to me because I believe we were on Twitch for a huge majority of the same time and just never came across each other. When did you start streaming?
I started streaming in 2016.
Oh my gosh. 4 years before the pandemic? That's crazy.
Yeah.
On Twitch? Is that where you started?
On Twitch. But I started streaming Destiny. Like the game Destiny. So that's what I was playing. I wasn't doing a music stream. And then I switched to music in 2017.
That's still a long 3 years
like about a
before
year,
everyone else joined onto that ship. So
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was one of the very first music streamers. So like I really remember when there was like, I mean, everyone knew everyone. And there was like less than 20 of us, 10 or 15 or something like that. It was so small. And it was just tiny, and like the music directory was so small, and everyone was always wondering how we could get it to grow and all that sort of thing. Sound familiar?
Yeah, I know, right?
So yeah, I couldn't.
It's very interesting. I don't have no idea what that music category was like. Like, how was it even really acknowledged as a category? Didn't it used to just be like lumped into arts at one point?
Yeah, I think it was just creative. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then I was there when it got split to, I guess, I think it was music, and then they split it even further, so to like live instruments, I guess. I'm actually kind of forgetting, honestly. A lot of it's really fuzzy, but yeah, it was weird because, well, streaming is a weird place.
Streaming is weird.
People are so weird.
Dana,
so like I started out a lot with some people who were very small at the time, and then they've blown up, and just see people change over time, for better or for worse. A lot of times for worse.
Yeah,
right. So yeah, it's wild.
So have you always played the grand piano with streaming, or did you used to play through keyboard? Or
yeah, no, I played majority of the time was on a keyboard, which I still have. I use it for composing now, but actually, first I had a keyboard in my bedroom. So my very first stream I started on my upright pianos before I had my grand piano. I think like I did like maybe 1 or 2 streams on the upright, but like the sound quality.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, an upright piano is a piano, but it's not. It doesn't extend back. It doesn't open this way, so the strings go up and down. So it's like when most people have like a piano in their house, just a normal piano. Like it's just it's called an upright piano.
Oh, okay.
So it was really great. It's actually it was a piano I actually grew up on. It's another Baldwin. I have a Baldwin Grand now, and it was a great piano. And so I streamed on that. But it's hard to mic pianos. Very difficult, especially for uprights, because Grands you can put the mics inside because the lid is open. And so I had already a keyboard, so I decided to switch to keyboard because I thought the quality would actually be better. And it was, the sound quality was better for the stream, not in person, still better on a piano. And so I switched to my keyboard in my room, and then I actually moved everything to my closet because I wanted to be able to because I was streaming late at night. I was not streaming during the day at all. So I had kids and I needed them to be asleep. So I actually streamed out of my closet for years, for a long time. And then when I moved into this house, I was still up at my closet, still on the keyboard. And I just goes like, you know what? I got the grand piano downstairs. Now I'm so tired of being cooped up in a closet. So I switched to the grand piano not that long ago, actually. So I streamed on Twitch on the grand piano for maybe about 6 months or so before I stopped streaming. And then I came over to Kick.
Okay, I was gonna say because I feel like I've always seen you on the grand piano on kick.
Oh yeah, it's my whole time on kick. I've been on the grand piano.
Okay, yeah, the grand piano is awesome though. Sounds good.
It's so much nicer to play on a piano than on a keyboard. Like I can be way more expressive. I have way more control over what I'm doing, and it's just so much nicer. I don't get fatigued as much as I do on a keyboard. So
that's kind of weird. Is it even are like the keyboards weighted too though?
I mean, keyboards can come. The range of quality of keyboards is pretty vast. So like you can get really cheapo keyboards for $100, and then get basically when you're paying, the more you pay for a keyboard, usually you're trying to get the action to be as close to like the piano action to be as close as possible. And then of course there's lots of bells and whistles, like if you want included instruments, other instruments and stuff as well. But that was never really important to me when I got a keyboard. I just wanted to be as close to the piano as possible.
Nice.
So yeah, it's still different. Like even though mine, I mean, I never got like a crazy expensive. I think the one that I have right now, I think was around $1,000. But you can spend thousands of dollars if you really want to.
I do remember probably making some Guitar Center employees angry in the keyboards department for sure, messing around on some of those expensive keyboards that did all sorts of weird ass sounds. You just crank the volume up and make it loud. But so when did you get started with piano? When did you first pick it up? And did you play any other instruments first, or did you just go to piano?
No, piano was my first. So like I learned to read music before I learned to read like words. So I started around the same time probably. So I started when I was 4. My father was a concert pianist, very accomplished pianist, and like if I could be 100th of the talent that he had, I would be thrilled. Very, very talented. So he was like playing full-length concerts by the time he was like 12 years old, like for people.
Whoa.
Like paying customers. And he was a professor at Florida State here, music history professor and piano professor. He was actually pretty well known here when he was alive. He passed away a couple years ago, which is how I ended up with the grand piano. Because I definitely did not buy this grand piano. This grand piano is way too expensive for me to buy, but I inherited it. So anyway, my dad was already a pianist, but my sister was actually taking piano lessons, not with my dad. My dad was never our teacher. We always had a separate teacher. And my parents said I was just trying to learn her music and really wanted to take lessons. And they thought I was too young, but I like kept being persistent and trying to learn her songs. And so they went ahead and put me in lessons, and I just always loved it. Like my parents never had to tell me to practice. I don't have any memory ever of my parents telling me to practice. I just did it. But they were also
with guitar.
Yeah, but they were also very hands off. Like my dad, I think he saw so many other music professors push it on their kids and get like hyper fixated on them being perfect that he was like very, very hands off. He wouldn't tell me. Yeah, it was really great. So if anything, he was on the other side of the spectrum. Like he maybe could have pushed me a little bit more. I mean, I think what he did was perfect because I think I can be a little stubborn. So sometimes when somebody tells me to do something, I don't want to do it. So I think it probably worked out well. But yeah. So I started taking those 4, and then I just, I feel like it was always kind of really part of my identity. Like I was the pianist. Like people knew me that I was the pianist, and I was like performing and doing some stuff and as early as middle school. And I just always knew I knew I either wanted to be a writer or I wanted to be a pianist, like a piano teacher or a performer. So those were kind of my 2 like professions. I used to love to write. As well. And then when I got into high school, I kind of like really zeroed in on piano because I knew I had to be auditioning for music schools, and you have to get like build up your repertoire, and it's a pretty intense procedure. So that's when I really, really got serious when I was in high school.
Nice. Did you ever want to play any other instruments, or you just were solely focused on?
Oh, yeah, no, I did. So in middle school, I played the flute and band.
Oh, nice. My daughter plays the flute. She loves it.
I think it's a beautiful instrument. I loved it. I love the experience I was actually just talking about this on stream. You might have been in there when I was talking about it, but I love the experience of performing music with other people, like on a grand scale like that. It's
Yeah.
just so. I just loved it. Like I remember playing Beauty and the Beast in middle school and like hearing the chimes in the back, and I was just so swept up with the song. I mean, it was like Beauty and the Beast had been out only for a couple years because I'm ancient, but like I was just so happy to be playing that song, and I just love that experience. And then in high school, I actually did chorus, so I actually got super into singing in high school, and I love that experience too of being in a choir. And I also played steel drums too. So in my senior
you're
year of
crazy,
high school,
man.
yeah,
That's
kind
pretty
of rare.
crazy.
It is pretty.
How'd you
It's
get into
pretty.
that?
Well, it's pretty crazy, but like my high school that I went to had a steel drum group, and I think Tallahassee is an interesting place because Florida State's here, and they do have such a reputable music program. It's very rich in music. There's a lot of opportunities, and so we have like the orchestras, all the things that all the schools are very, very good. And so yeah, we had a steel drum. They've had a steel drum class for a while because was there. My older sister was there too, and I'm not sure when it
Nuts.
started.
That's
But yeah, I
cool.
took it at my senior year. I did the bass steel drums, so it was like 6 giant, looks like giant like oil drums,
Yeah.
sort of the sides like surround you. So it's really fun because you're like moving all around, and it's a blast. So much fun. And then when I went to Florida State for piano, I went ahead and took the steel drum class at FSU too because they had a bunch of world music ensemble groups. And that was fantastic because then I was with a bunch of music majors, and so it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. I remember at like I think I don't know. I had to have been maybe in middle school or maybe even in elementary school. There was like an outdoor mall that had like some steel drum group playing one time. We were there, and I was like so mesmerized by it. It was so weird. Steel drums are awesome. That's pretty cool.
They are really fun.
Awesome. So when did you play like your first like concert? Have you done? Would you say like your band concerts were like your first thing, or you do anything
with
before
my piano
that?
teacher, she would have like the end of the year concerts. So I did. I mean, I would do those. I did a lot of stuff in church too. So I was always like asked to be the pianist for various groups, or like do musical numbers and things like that. So a lot of times I'd play on Sunday, like for a Sunday service. I think that was probably more in high school that I did that. I don't know if I can't remember if I did anything in middle school. I would say my first like big performance was actually in middle school. My homeroom teacher was the chorus teacher, Mr. Figures. I still remember his name, Mr. Figures. And I wasn't in chorus. I was in band in middle school, but he had a piano there, obviously in his room for homeroom. And so I was playing a Mendelssohn song without words. And for whatever, I guess I was playing in homeroom, and he's like, "Oh, you need to perform at our chorus concert." And I was like, "Okay." And it's like they had like some winter festival, and so that was my first like big performance, and it was like around 500 people, and I remember being extremely nervous.
I bet.
But that was like my first, where it was just me playing big performance. And then, like I said, in high school, I did like talent shows and things like that.
Have you gone on to do bigger shows after that in your like bungee like era,
Yeah.
or it's like the biggest show you've done? Or what would you say is your favorite venue you played?
Honestly, I probably enjoyed playing at GCX, which is sad because now I don't get to go anymore, but that's a whole other story.
That's a convention?
Yeah, that's a convention. Yeah. So that was originally Destiny. It was originally called Destiny Con. So it came from the Destiny community.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it was put on by community members. And then they changed it to Guardian Con because in Destiny you're called Guardians. Yeah. And then they changed it to rebranded to GCX because it kind of expanded to other games too. So it wasn't just Destiny. So I had been performing at that convention since it started, actually. So back in 2000, when was the first year? 2017, I think was their first year.
Dang.
They did it. So honestly, I really, really loved performing. Like the last few years I did it. Like when I first started, I was up on stage and it was like an event. And it'd have different people, doing different things and stuff. So it was kind of more, that was actually, I was a lot more nervous for that. Cause it's like you're on stage and everybody's watching you. And the subsequent years, I was actually out like in the hallway playing, and which I liked more. It's more like the stream. So people would walk by, they come up, request music, and it was a way more relaxed. And I love that because it was more
that's kinda
interactive.
cool.
Yeah. So honestly, I really enjoy doing that. I mean, I've done like weddings and stuff before. I don't really love to do weddings,
Too
but
much pressure. Don't make the bride mad.
it's just usually not worth it for me. I just don't really, unless like I get paid a ton, but just I don't really want to do it. And
Did
I
that
do.
convention travel, or was it always at the same like convention center?
It was in Tampa for a couple years, and then it was in now, and then it's been in Orlando the last few years.
Okay, so it's always usually in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have other ones that they host outside of?
No, it's the only one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
After high school, where was your music journey going after that? So you're in choir or in chorus in high school and still doing piano. I assume you were done with flute by that time.
Yeah, flute was only middle school. I became the chorus nerd in high school. So I auditioned for Florida State, in Tallahassee. I always wanted to go to FSU, and I got in. That was very nerve-wracking, but a crazy process. But I got in, and FSU was really it was really intense. I loved it, but I also I wouldn't say I hated it, but it was really tough. It was really it was a good it was really good for me because I felt like I went from being like the best musician in my schools to being surrounded by absolute freaks of nature. And I always felt like I felt like I was the bottom of the barrel. And you know what though? I'm actually so grateful for that experience because I got over it really quickly. I didn't like wallow in that. And I just was like, I have an opportunity to learn from some amazing people. And it kind of took out the competitive stuff for me, where a lot of my friends were so competitive with each other. A lot of the other pianists, they do competitions and stuff. And then, just kind of like, it makes everything weird. And I hate when people make music competitive. I feel like it just completely destroys, the essence of what music should be, and takes away all the fun magic, and just like, ugh. And it's like this weird competitive thing. I hate it. I really hate it. So in a way, it was kind of nice because I was like, yeah, I can't compete with these people. So I just I never even played that game. I just concentrated on myself, and so it was really great. Like I learned so much, but I was very burnt out when I finished Florida State. I was super burnt out, and because I had thought about wanting to get a master's or getting a doctorate, and I was like, I need some time off. But I got married really young, so I got married while I was in college, like my sophomore year of college, a week before I turned 20. And I really wanted to start a family, so I started a family right after college, and then I just basically became, did the whole mom thing. I still taught lessons. So I started teaching when I was 18, my freshman year at FSU, and I've been teaching piano ever since. I haven't had, like every year I've taught. But teaching piano is great for starting a family because you can make your own hours and get your own, decide how many students you want to teach. So, so I started family. I supported my ex-husband through law school, and that's how I pretty much spent my 20s, was just raising a family. And then as far as music was concerned, it was just playing at church and teaching piano lessons. There wasn't really any performing outside of those two things. And I really wrote off performing, to be quite honest, because, I was thinking of performing in the classical sense. And if you want to make it as a classical pianist, you need to be a complete freak of nature by the time you're like 12 or 10 or something, like my dad was, and like winning competitions and all kinds of stuff. It's so crazy competitive. And honestly, I mean, I should not to disparage. There are some really great people out there, but most of them are really weird that intense. Like they didn't have childhoods. Like that wasn't me at all. I had a very balanced life. Um, so anyway, I wrote off performing because I just felt like that was in my mind that's what performing was. And then when I found out about live streaming, it completely opened that door back up, which has been great because it was a dream that I had totally, like I said, shut the door on, and here I am getting to perform every day. So
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. I feel like, yeah, like man, I remember when my daughter was born, my first child. I like put the guitar away for like a year and a half, 2 years, and didn't even pick it up. And I was just like, I need to get back into this somehow. I always tried to. There was never really anything that made sense to do that. I never really had the time. And then I come a couple moves later and whatnot, and finally got back into my like high school, middle school town where all my like ex bandmates and stuff were. And then we started the project that we have now. And then COVID hit, and then I was just like, I mean, I there's just not a better way to practice, because if I wasn't streaming and keeping myself to like a schedule, I would not be practicing 4 days a week for like 3 to 4 hours. I just wouldn't. I know I'd find other things to put my time to, whether it be with family or things around the house or stuff like that. So yeah, streaming's been really good in that aspect as far as maintaining like your own practice and performance and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's pretty it's I hope this doesn't like come across obnoxious at all, but it is pretty cool to be able to look back and be like, wow, I've gotten a lot better. Because I remember when I first started streaming and I was so stressed out about being able to fill up the time, for an hour's worth of music, video game music. And now I've got like hundreds of songs that I can play.
Your song list is crazy.
But I'd be so stressed out. Somebody requested something that I didn't know. I would be very nervous,
This is me. Get angry.
But you really do get used to it the more and more you do it. And now I'm not intimidated by it. And also just being able to learn how to improv and, come up with my own little frilly doodles type stuff, fill stuff in. Like
frilly doodles, copyright that.
That I've gotten a lot better at that over the years. Like, I mean, I was not that and I hope to keep getting better. I'm not saying I'm amazing now, but like, it's just where I started and where I am now, it just goes to show you, you forget like how much, even as adults, you can progress. I think that sometimes we lose sight of that.
That's definitely true. I definitely never got into like the improv guitar game until like streaming over like a bunch of random songs and stuff like that. But I know it's hard. Like sometimes I like look back at like my younger self and wonder if I was better at certain things, which I'm sure there were certain things on guitar I was better at. But yeah, I think like streaming has definitely made me a better guitarist. I think, I don't know, maybe not, who knows. But yeah,
you're playing music for a couple hours a day. How can you not be improving?
Yeah, that's true. Well, when you drink a bunch of beer, it doesn't really help. So maybe that's my problem. But, so out of all of the stuff that you've done through music so far, what would you say is like your biggest accomplishment? Was it getting into Florida State or something above that?
Biggest accomplishment. Wow, that's a really hard question. I don't know if I would say getting into Florida. I mean, I love my time at Florida State, but I don't think I would say that. I mean, that's a really
also
hard
this
question.
cover of Nothing Else Matters in the background right now is fire. Just saying.
Oh, is that playing right now?
Yeah. Can you guys hear the music in the background? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Also, I guess I never checked how her levels are, but just ask these questions at the end of the stream when they're all wrong.
I can't hear what you have playing through the stream, or it'll
no like music.
Weird echo.
Hey, you guys should definitely be hearing the music.
Oh, Lori can hear music.
Lori can hear it. Is it too quiet, Lori? I know last time I had it all sounds good. Okay. No, open your ears. No, I'm just kidding.
I've done a lot of charity events with streaming, and I'm pretty proud of those. Where I've helped organize. I did on Mixer. I helped organize a big music charity event, and we raised over 50,000 for St. Jude Children's
Wow.
Research Hospital, and that was just a really, it was just a special experience. Like we were all just, we were just all feeling the really good feelings, and it was fun. And honestly, those are I feel like those are probably some of the highlights of my career, I guess you could say, in music. I'm pretty proud of my piano studio too, and my students. It's really tough to say. I don't really know if I can really say definitively.
It's too many good things
for different reasons,
Yeah,
lots of great things for different reasons.
So how often do you teach a week?
I teach every day, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
So on Mondays I stream in the morning, teach in the afternoon. Tuesdays stream in the morning, teach in the afternoon. Wednesdays I teach all day. Actually, today was a horrific day. There was a wreck on our interstate, and it took me, so I'd go to a homeschooled families on Wednesdays. Like, I actually go to their houses because I live in a neighborhood, and it only takes me 20 minutes, and took me like an hour and 10 minutes to get there today. So I was like way behind. Geez. It was way behind. I had a horrible headache today too. So teaching lessons when you have a headache is no fun. And then I had to rush back for my afternoon lessons.
Give this lady a round of applause. She should have canceled on us, to be honest. Seriously.
No. But it was literally nonstop today. Like, I had no breaks. Just as I pulled up, my next student was here at my house ready for me. So Wednesdays are crazy. Normally it's 9 to 6, but I do have an hour break. But I had no break today because I was behind. And then Thursdays, same thing, stream in the morning, teach in the afternoon. And then Fridays, I teach in the mornings, in the early afternoon. Sometimes I stream in the afternoon, or I just take the rest of the Friday off. So yeah, and I've actually cut back quite a lot on my lessons so I can.
Oh, you used to teach more.
Oh yeah, I used to have 60 some students, and I was streaming at night, and that's how I started. Because you don't want to you can't just start streaming and just hope for the best. When you're an adult and you have to pay the bills, and yeah. I mean, I'm a single mom, I can't just go, hey, I'm just gonna hope that I make it, and quit everything. So I had to really build up to where I felt like it was okay. I can cut back on teaching and spend some time streaming during the day. And so and now I'm engaged now, and so I've got support there too. So it's had to be a slow process, and that's kind of been it's been a frustrating thing in streaming, but I've also something I've just had to accept, that when you're a parent, you can't. I'm not living with a roommate, I'm not living at home still, so it's I can't just get $500 or $1,000 from streaming for the month and be like, cool, that pays my bills. No.
Yeah.
I have to make a real adult income if I really want to do it full time, and I don't think I probably will never do streaming full time. I mean, I don't foresee me getting big enough to where I feel like I could just quit all my teaching. But where I have it right now is pretty manageable. It's about half and half. So that's
good.
Yeah, and I do composition also, and that's something that I really want to develop more as I get into my old age.
Nice. And then do you those get used? Those get submitted and used in the things, or are you just making your own compositions for yourself?
I know. I mean, I do paid projects. So I've done intros and outros for other content creators. I'm working on an indie film right now. I've done some indie video games. I've been a session pianist for other composers. So where they've hired me to play stuff that they can use. So yeah, things like that. I mean, it's not a ton of work, and I don't charge a whole lot right now because I feel like I'm still kind of, I'm still building up my portfolio. So, but I enjoy it a lot. It's a great creative outlet. I really, really love it. I have a hard time like zero in and on one thing and sticking to one thing. I really just kind of like to be able to have several different options available to me. And I know that's like not always the smartest thing, because you want to be able to like become an expert at one area, but that's just who I am. That's just what makes me happy. So I just kind of have to like, if that's the life I'm choosing, then things are always going to take me longer.
I almost feel like the older we get, we kind of have to spread those, like, our talents in the different trades, because it's not like when we're young and you can hone in on it and get an advantage over other people. We're kind of having to almost play catch up in a way, because things are moving so fast in certain departments and technologies and stuff like that. But Lori asks, do your kids play piano? And if they do you teach them, or do they get their teaching elsewhere?
So I did start to teach piano to my oldest for a little while, but she actually went the cello route. She plays the cello, and my son plays the guitar.
Nice.
And my youngest plays the viola. So they all like play a
cool.
little bit of piano, but they never really got super into piano, which is, I kind of feel I have a lot of guilt over that. I feel like I should have done more. But, at the time I felt like I couldn't really afford getting, piano lessons in addition to other lessons. And I didn't really push it on them too. It's hard. It is hard to teach your own kids. Like after a whole day of teaching piano, I feel like my patience was just not there for them.
Learn it yourself, you little bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Pull out the ruler and smack their hands if they hit a wrong note.
Oh boy.
No, but they're all very musical, and it's actually pretty fun. Actually, it's extremely fun for us to all to get together and play different instruments and play stuff.
I was gonna say,
together.
When's the family band? When is Desiree and the Desert Rays starting up their first project?
Well, my oldest just turned 18, so I might actually bring her on stream sometime and play cello.
Oh, that'd be cool. Me. Oh, that would be epic. That would be
I still
cool.
Get a little worried because there's so many weirdos out there. I'm like, do I really want do I want her on the camera? I don't know, but I feel like she's 18
she's an adult now. It's up to her, I guess. Well, not really. It's up to you too, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Taco, what's going on? Welcome on in. Also, Dethrone, I see you, dude. How's it going, man? Welcome on in, everybody. Sorry if I'm not acknowledging in chat. We're just enjoying this discussion with Lady Desiree. If you guys got any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll try and squeeze them on in here. But so as far as teaching goes, like, do you have any advice for anybody else that also gives music lessons or instrument lessons?
I mean, I think my teaching style has evolved a lot since I started. It's just like with parenting, or I guess any other teacher, kids have their own little personalities. So you really do have to kind of tailor your teaching to the student. And when I first started, I was like, okay, I need to teach him this, and this. And then I'd get like kids with some learning disabilities, or I get like gifted kids, or we'd get kids with super hyperactive or whatever. And kids that had amazing ears but couldn't read. So I've had to really learn how to pivot and adjust and try and like really just keep their love of music alive, which can be really tricky, especially when the parents really push the piano on them. That's always tough.
Yeah.
And you can tell when like the kids like weren't interested, but the parents really wanted them in lessons. So, I feel like I've gotten to be a better teacher over the years, just because I feel like I've kind of learned how to read little signs and stuff in the kids and figure out how to adjust. But I think so I guess my biggest advice would be to really just try and get to know the kid and connect with them and just see what piques their interest. But still try. It's tough because you want to be able to maintain standards. So I want my students to be able to read. I want them to have good technique. I want them to be able to have all that stuff. But like finding ways to still keep their passion alive while you're sneaking in all that other stuff. Yeah, it can be tough. Some days and some kids can be very tough.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I have a very good group. And most of my problems in teaching have almost always been with the parents, not with the kids. Like I've had some very annoying parents over the years.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
But my parents are great too. I'm very, very lucky. I have a really good, solid group.
That's good. That's good to have.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about not just your music background and instrument background? What about your actual music taste? Like, what are some of your favorite genres? Was there a certain musician that made you really hone in on the piano more than anyone else? Who are your favorite bands? We need to know all these questions.
I'm gonna sound like an old fuddy-duddy mom if I
You need to dye your hair gray after this, is what you're saying, huh?
Well, okay, so I grew up, honestly, I have more in common with my interests in music probably with 90-year-olds than I do anybody my age, because I grew up listening to, like, seriously, I grew up listening to old, like, standards. So my father was a lot older than my mom. My dad was old enough to be my grandfather. Okay.
Whoa.
He met my mom. Yes. This was a later marriage.
40s, 50s swings, your favorite.
Yeah. So he was amazing. He was like a fabulous father. I could not ask for a better father. He was so great. I adored him. He did all things other dads did, but he was older. So it's like I was exposed to really old music. Like, my mom was like, she was listening to oldies, but my dad was like listening to, standards or classical music. So I grew up listening to like 50s and 60s music from my mom, or my dad's specialty was George Gershwin. And so I know Gershwin music really well, but Sinatra, like all that type of stuff, and classical music. And then, in the 90s, like I didn't really start kind of listening to what was popular until maybe I was in middle school. And that's like when I started listening to like Boyz II Men and stuff, but I wasn't, my music taste is kind of,
She had a Boyz II Men poster, y'all. She just admitted it.
I did not. I
Yeah,
did not
right.
Boyz II Men. No, I didn't. I had like on my wall, I had like pictures of kittens and puppies. Okay.
Kittens,
I had like a
kitten calendar.
Yeah, totally. That was my vibe. So I was like, no, listen, I was a true dork in school. I was very, very dorky. I wasn't into all the cool stuff. But so I loved 90s music because, I think a lot of people just love the music that they listened to when they were teenagers. I think that like that just seems to be, everyone thinks that's the best era, whatever, when they were teenagers. And like early 2000s. But I guess if I were to like turn on a station right now, I really like indie pop style stuff. And I really like especially Cody Fry. I don't know if you know Cody Fry at all.
I've heard that name. I'm sure I've heard some songs.
So it's like a genre like orchestral pop, I think is what they call it, or symphonic pop. So where they actually use orchestral instruments and combine it with like modern day like pop mixing and engineering, stuff like that.
Crazy.
But it's I love it because I think orchestral instruments are absolutely amazing. So it's nice to kind of hear it. But I really, really, really love Cody Fry. Underground is a popular one, but the one that is really popular is I Hear a Symphony. That's the one that got him really popular. And his cover of Eleanor Rigby. I'll have to send it to you later. It's very, very good. Actually, I heard a new one today that I loved. I don't remember the name of it, but I loved it. I listened to it like 3 times while I was in the car earlier. I get very obsessive with songs. So once I find a song I like, I will listen to it over and over and over again.
Yep. That is totally me. I obsess over music. Like I always like try to, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like, I like to listen to things in a producer ear. I will like try to pick apart every little thing that is put into that song that the average listener has no idea is even there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think when you figure a lot of those things out, it kind of just makes music, it makes some of the stuff you listen to like even more impressive than what you already thought, because it's just oh, we got a host. Spooky Knife coming in with the host of 7 viewers. Let's go. I don't know if any of these sounds are working, but yeah. Welcome on in, y'all. Nice. I like that answer. Would you say, what's like one of your all-time favorite bands?
Well,
would
actually,
you say that's the same person? Would you say there's something
no,
that's classic
I
to
like
you?
Cody Fry. He's more recent, but actually, I really like Muse. That was what Chavez and I were discussing with. discussing. I like Muse a lot. I think they're pretty fun, and they, it's all their songs are like
Muse
about
is
down
amazing.
with the government and let's have a revolution, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yes, let's do it. I want to go
I
fight.
do a lot of piano stuff too. Matt is amazing.
Yeah,
Matt's a really good pianist. That guy's they're a crazy 3-piece band. Have you ever seen them live?
I was about to say, I've seen them perform twice.
Yeah, they're so good.
Twice, yeah. So, yeah, I really like Muse. But I mean, honestly, I really like all kinds of genres.
Yeah,
I really do. Even metal, I've kind of gotten a little bit more into thanks to my fiance Jason. Yeah.
There you go. Good man.
But I need more like melodic metal. I don't like it when if I can't like pick out a melody, that bothers me. I like to have a good strong melody. But I could find a song in pretty much any genre and find something that I like.
Yeah. Well, if you need metal suggestions, I got you. Plenty of things.
Yeah.
Would out of all the concerts you've been to, would you say Muse was probably your number one, or was there a band that blew you away further than Muse? Or how about this? Do you have like top 3 concerts, top 3 bands that?
I saw U2 perform it was when I was living in Charlottesville. I can't remember if it was actually I think it was in Charlottesville, Virginia. That was an amazing concert. Yeah, Muse has been great. I actually really liked Keen a lot. I saw them perform in Orlando. I really like the band Keen too.
I've heard of them.
There's a song, I walked across an empty land. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. That's like one of their famous ones.
Oh, I've heard that one. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
that
I
whole
just didn't know
album
who that
is really
was.
good. It's very chill music. I like it. Let's see. I saw. Do you remember the group Yellow Card?
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah, so I saw them right before they got really big. They came to Tallahassee
before Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, well, before Ocean Avenue, like I think got on the radio. It was like because they were on the soundtrack for the game SSX Tricky. Do you remember that game? It was a snowboarding game.
Oh, okay. I
used to play the crap out of that game.
I do remember that game. It was so fun,
and they had amazing music on there. I mean, it was so fun. And that they had a track on there, and that's how I think I first found them. But anyway, they performed in Tallahassee in a really small venue, like super small. Like I was like 10 feet away from them or something,
That's so cool.
And it was really, really fun. It was really fun. And then like a couple months later, they blew up. So
that's insane.
I felt very cool that I got to see them before.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I knew them.
Yeah, 90s and like early 2000s video game soundtracks were like so good. So good. That was when real music was getting used for things. Yeah. Were you always into gaming? Be like at an early age? Were you playing Nintendo? Were you playing Genesis? Or did you not get into gaming until high school? Or
no, we got the original NES.
Nice.
When I was really young, and I remember playing on that. Sorry, my dog's barking. So I guess I was probably. I mean, I was. I don't know how old I was, like 6 maybe or something, but pretty young. So I remember playing the NES, playing as pretty much my entire life. And then we had a Super Nintendo, and I played a lot. I loved playing with my friends and my sisters. And then we had a Super Nintendo. Then my high school years was like my dark period in gaming because I was too obsessed with whatever guy. I was too obsessed with whatever guy I had a crush on and hanging out with my friends and playing the piano or whatever. I didn't do much gaming at all in high school. Okay. So that was like Nintendo 64 time. I didn't play Nintendo 64 at all. And then I got a GameCube. When my ex and I started dating, we got a game. I played on his GameCube, and then we had a GameCube once we got married. And that's like when I picked up Ocarina of Time and Kingdom Hearts, and actually, I got a PlayStation. And I played Kingdom Hearts on the PlayStation, and just some other games around that time. And then when he was in law school, the first year, two friends invited us over for dinner, and the husband had Halo 3. And he's like, "Hey, play this game, Halo 3. Let's try this out."
Oh, so your first Halo game was 3?
Yes.
Oh, late bloomer. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I was terrible at first. I was like shooting my feet and shooting the air, like typical, like stereotypical horrible girl gamer. But I'm extremely competitive. And so I was like, I want to get good at this game. And I had fun. So I was like, we got to get this game. So I got the game, and my ex was super busy in law school. Like I hardly ever saw him. So like literally like this is what I did. Like at night I would play by myself. I played the crap out of Halo 3 and I got really good at it. And that's actually where Lady Desiree came from.
I bet
that
you
was my...
shit talked like crazy in the lobbies.
Oh yeah, I made 13-year-old boys cry all the time. I didn't. But I chose Lady Desiree. That was my my Xbox name, because I thought like, oh, Lady Desiree, like it sounds regal. Because I like thought, oh, princessy, whatever. Lady Desiree sounds nice. But then, of course, everybody mistook it, Lady Desire, and I would get like
they can't read.
Yeah, so I get all these guys like trying to hit on me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not what I intended.
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't COD lobbies. I mean, at least.
Oh no, I got to COD
lobbies. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, COD is coming.
At least Halo lobbies had a little bit more respect. But jeez, yeah, I bet COD lobbies were not good.
Oh yeah, so I got really into first-person shooters then with Halo 3. Then I started playing Call of Duty, and then I kind of and like at this point too, like we were making like friends with other. I was always friends with the guys, the couples, to like make other couple friends. But it was like the guys that wanted to play games, and the girls wanted to like go talk. I'm like, I don't want to go talk. I want to go play the video games. But so we'd make friends with other couples and like have game nights, and we'd have like huge LAN parties, and it was actually pretty fun.
LAN parties the best.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we did like big Halo and Call of Duty parties, and so I played those first-person shooters. And then one day I was playing actually Grand Theft Auto. And
please tell me you role played GTA at one point.
No,
okay.
Role play it. Wait, what do you mean role play?
You ever seen people role playing that game? It's some of the funniest shit ever. It's actually
like they
really
pretend like they're the people.
Yeah, and they get super into it. There's some streamers on Kick, and it's so funny, dude.
No, Destro, I'm not that nerdy. Come on.
I know. I'm not either. I used to play World of Warcraft, and they had role playing servers, and I remember. Like, I don't know, younger
right?
me.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Lightning bolt. I'm just kidding.
Nah,
yeah,
I have to have some kind of
nerdy.
standards, okay? I gotta have some standards.
I think older me would rather role play than younger me. I just think I would make fun of the whole process.
Yeah.
But
maybe so. Maybe. Actually, it's funny. I did do that when I remember playing Super Mario Brothers 2 as Princess with my friend, and we would do that. We'd walk around like in the character, like while we were playing, like pretend like we were in a story and do voices and stuff. But I was like 10 at the time, so or whatever.
I remember playing in some guild raids in WoW, and one of me and my friends that lived up in Seattle, we used to we weren't in a role-playing server, but we used to do that time to time, and it would really piss off our guild mates because we wouldn't break character. And they would get frustrated really quick. But it was still funny. When's the last time you played a shooter game, a first-person shooter? You played Destiny 2 at all? You ever log into that or no?
Oh yeah. So I was gonna say I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and the people I was playing with, one of the guys was like, "Hey, you got to try out this game, Destiny."
Oh yeah.
And he kept pushing. He's like, "You got to try it out. You got to try it out." And so Destiny had just come out. I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll try it,"
So
and fell in love with it. Fell in love with the music. So this is how I got on this path. So I was listening to a song or a instrumental piece from Destiny, fell in love with it, wanted to play it on the piano, looked online to see if I could find the sheet music. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I decided to figure it out myself, record it, put it up on YouTube along with the sheet music in case anybody else wanted to look for it. That was all. That was my only.
You wrote out the sheet music on what you learned? That's
yeah.
crazy.
I kind of did like I didn't do exactly a lead sheet, but I did a very simplified version of like what I played. Like I did like, which is kind of like the bare bones. And then I kind of just do my little extra stuff when I play it. But I wasn't intending it to I wasn't intending to have a YouTube channel or go viral or anything, but it did go viral. So Marty O'Donnell, who was the composer for Bungie at the time and did Halo and stuff, retweeted it and it exploded. And that's
awesome.
how I got into the Destiny community. And people in the Destiny community asked me to do other arrangements of other Destiny music. That's how I forged connections with Bungie. That's what got me into doing more YouTube, which then got me into live streaming the game Destiny. And that's what set me like completely on this path, which I never would have been on. Like I would have never, ever figured out done live streaming or any of this stuff had I not done that one piece. You know, it's pretty crazy. So Destiny really took up my time for several years. Like that's all I played was Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. And I don't really play it anymore. I haven't played it. I haven't picked it up in a good while. Like probably, I don't know, maybe 2 years even at this point. At least
wow.
Definitely a year. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, me and the missus got obsessed with Destiny. It was the whole reason. I remember like it wasn't a game that I just loved. It's like she got into it, and we bought like a whole nother console system just so we could both play. And we used to play the fuck out of Destiny. I used to do so much PvP with my buddies. I used to do Trials of Osiris, all sorts of like all that stuff. I really did not give Destiny 2 a try. I remember leveling up, and I think I maybe did like the first season of PvP. I don't even know if they called them seasons then. Do they even call them seasons now? I really don't even keep up with Destiny, but I remember doing like I was playing PvP for a couple of months, and I think even then I just couldn't get into it.
The PvP sucked. It sucked in Destiny 2. It was never good. Yeah, well, Destiny 2 was not nearly as good as the first.
And then they made like all these changes later that were just reverting things back to the way like Destiny 1 was. And I was just over it by then. I was like, you guys aren't gonna win me back. I will say I do kind of hate that I wished that they would have. They always reskinned like the same enemies. I always kind of wish that they brought in new like enemies at some point. I mean, maybe they did in Destiny 2 later on, but even then it was just like, okay, now I'm fighting a cursed version of this guy, and I get it. But yeah, I keep hearing a lot about this Helldivers 2. Have you looked into this game at all or heard about this game?
I've heard about it, but I haven't played. I would love to play more games. I've watched quite a bit. I haven't gotten it yet. I've watched quite a bit of footage. It feels a lot like Destiny 1, but I don't know if it's got PvP aspect or if it's more like just PvE and it's just group tasks like that. But yeah, it looks cool. I know there's not a lot of games that are gonna match the way that like original Destiny was, or for me Halo 2, for you Halo 3. Man, you didn't get into the Halo 2. Man, I remember Halo 1 on PC. I actually got Halo 1 on PC before 2 came out, and then man, when 2 came out, yeah, that was it. I played the shit out of that game for way too many months on end. Years on end, actually. So once you kind of got into Destiny, is that when you kind of started leaning towards like video game music, or would you say like when you got into like even Zelda, that you were ever trying to learn like those scores or music pieces on piano then? I mean, I have a Zelda book actually.
Oh, nice.
I got like it's hard to get.
Sid, what did you just say? The fuck?
So like this had to be like imported, and it's not in English. Okay, so every title is like here's one. Oh wait, in my green screen. It's like there's a title, and I have to like write which one it is. Like healing. That's like the song of healing in my own, because like I'd have to like play through like, wait, what song is this? And then it's this, because none of it's written in English. So like, but this was like a big deal. Like I had to get this ordered, and this was hard. Just like pre-Amazon, you couldn't just like find things quickly back in the day. You had to hunt stuff down, and it just wasn't available. So I was definitely interested, and had played some stuff, but not a lot. And so, like when I said when I wanted to start playing music, I knew that, you know, my crowd, they're all gamers, and I like video game music. So, you know, it makes sense to play video game music. But I mean, I knew at the time, like such a tiny fraction of what I know now to play. But like a really good resource that, you know, is the VG lead sheets, video game lead sheets. And so finding that, I was able to kind of learn things really
as
fast.
Hell looking at that. Because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
So.
No.
I can't read music. It wasn't in tablature form, so I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. It's easier for pianists because we already like thinking about in chords and stuff. We're just kind of used to sort of that structure. But
something's happening on my stream. What is? Hold on. I turned off like certain alerts, so there's things that I don't know what's going on. Something's blinking. Yeah, I tried looking at that for some of the Sonic stuff, and I was like, I'm like, I've found like 4 different versions that I could play, and they're all in different keys, so I didn't know if that even. I'm like, honestly, I think it makes more sense for me to just learn this by ear, which is what I ended up like doing. Was oh, what the fuck? Who the hell? Yo, somebody just tipped for me to get Helldivers. I changed my donation goal to getting Helldivers too. Somebody, thank you. I don't know, I can't see the notification, but I thank you so much, whoever that was. You are what? I'm gonna play the shit out of that game. Anyways, let's get back to the important things. So now Desiree has to get it so she can join me in spreading democracy. I don't know, that's what they say in that game. Apparently that's like shooting. Apparently like the aliens you shoot. Have you ever seen? You remember? Oh wait, you don't watch movies. That's right. You're like anti-movie.
Oh gosh, that's not true.
This lady has not seen any movie in the history of the Earth here. You ever see Starship Troopers?
No.
See. Point in case. Anyways.
I already get so much crap from Jason about this. Like he's like, you lived in a time capsule. I'm like, oh my gosh,
you deserve to.
Be quiet.
Oh man. Anyways, so when you first started streaming music, were you always right at the start doing video game stuff, or did that kind of come later?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I started out video game music.
That's cool. That's cool. Mm-hmm. My stream kind of started out completely different than what it was. So I don't, maybe you know of him from like early Twitch days, because I don't know how early he had started with music before, you know, I found him before lockdown and everyone else kind of joined on that ship. Do you remember Echo Locations? He was like a guitarist, kind of looked like Jesus. He literally looked like he had like long hair and like a beard, just looked like Jesus playing guitar. But I remember he was the first actual musician I ever found on Twitch. It was probably like 2019, maybe 2018. But he would just like, he would just loop something. He would just create like either some chord progression with an acoustic or a bass or even some piano keys, and then he would just solo over that chord progression for like ever. And he would just make a new loop and record over it and jam on it. And that was what I wanted to start streaming as initially, was just doing that. It was just jamming on stuff, and I didn't know how to make loops in like Ableton or a DAW. I still don't. I mean, I know how it works, but I haven't done it. So I used to just improv over like, I don't know, songs that you could improv over, not obviously metal. I didn't do any covers. And then I think after maybe like 3 months or so of streaming, I think like somebody was like, do you know any metal songs? And then of course like muscle memory came in from when I was like 15, and then the stream turned into us having like over 1,000 covers that we try to play. So I kind of want to get back into improving. I think it's I don't know how much people like changing up content. I know, like, have you ever tried adjusting, like doing, I mean, I don't know, really, you kind of do so much with piano like on your own that you don't really need to adjust anything. But Have you ever tried switching and doing like more gaming streams or doing? I know you just started to do. You did a gardening stream the other day. How did that go?
Yeah, it was fun. So this is my garden in the back, actually. A picture of it. This is from
It's
last,
freaking awesome.
That's like around, I think late spring, early summer, maybe. But yeah, I mean, so gardening is kind of as my other passion. And the weather's nice, so I thought, yeah, I'll do it. It was a pain getting everything set up. I mean, I'm definitely gonna need to get some other kind of cameras or mics or something to make it a little more seamless, because it was definitely a hassle. But no, I had a good time doing it. Time is my enemy. I know it's cliche, like that's how it is for us all, probably adults, but it really is hard for me to find time to do stuff. So it's like, okay, if I only really have 3 days or maybe 4 days if I'm lucky. Like usually my average is 3 days a stream or 3 days a week. If I get 4 days in, I did pretty good. Then it's like, I feel like, well, I want to go ahead and stick with where I know I have my audience. But honestly, I did it in just chatting, and my viewership was about the same, like if for viewership. But I think music is as far as for monetary purposes, I think music streams are usually the way to go. I think music streamers make more money doing music than usually gamers do, because there's more opportunity. You have requests, so people can.
Yeah.
It's just like if I were playing out in public and someone said, "Hey, can you play this piece?" They would tip in the tip jar. Like that would be customary. Like you wouldn't normally like. It would be rude not to, like if I was like playing at a restaurant or something. So I think that usually like that's kind of the thing that's the culture. I will say that the culture was got like at Twitch originally, it was not like that, but over time it definitely got that way, where people would almost always drop bits or, a couple of dollars if you played a piece for them. And so like as a music streamer, just to earn more money, I feel like it actually, I feel like music streams are better for that.
Mm-hmm.
But and of course, like, I mean, I want to do what I love, but I also like, I have to be able to justify the time that I spend. I have to earn something too, as an adult. So yeah. I mean, I've only done one gardening stream, so I don't know like how it's gonna go. I think it's gonna be like I don't know how regular it's going to be. It might be like a once a month type thing or twice a month type thing. And I want to do a beekeeping stream too, because I think people would find that pretty interesting. Because for those of y'all that don't know, I have a honey company with my fiance. He's the master beekeeper, and I'm kind of more the assistant.
Is he like the Jason Statham beekeeper in the new movie?
Oh, we've laughed so much about that. I'm like, that's totally your character. Because he's kind of he's a pretty tough guy. He like doesn't like people. He's like the antithesis of me. Okay.
I already like this guy. I don't like people either. Fuck him.
Yeah, that is totally his attitude. He's a grouch.
Except you viewers, we love you. You guys are amazing. You guys are. Everyone else though, get fucked. I'm just
Together
kidding.
We try and balance out the world, because I'm like, I love everyone. I trust everyone. Like, come into my life. Tell me your life story. And he's like, that person's a moron. Don't talk to him. Like, but he's great for people in his inner circle. Like, he will do anything for you. If you're one of his friends or whatever, he will drop. Like, he's great, but he's just not. He's just not a people person like I am. But so yeah, we do joke about that character. Sounds for the beekeeper sounds up his alley.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we might do some beekeeping streams at some point too. Again, once I feel like we have to have good cameras for that though, because like I can't be messing with a camera with bees, like and gloves on and everything. That's just gonna be a huge pain.
Yeah.
But like as far as the music content changing, I mean, I have deviated a little bit. Like when I first started, I was only playing my own piano covers. I wasn't playing over tracks at all. That was something that I started that I do quite a bit now, where I'll like add piano to an existing track. And then sometimes I don't really get this request very often, but I had like a regular viewer on Twitch that would come in almost every stream and ask for a on the spot, like make up a song. He would like give me a setting. It's like, okay, it's a dark, cold night and blah, 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 blah. It was fun. It was actually, and then I would like make up as I was like make up a piece, based on that. And it was a fun little creative outlet. Ever so often I do that now, but it's pretty.
I'm gonna do
pretty
that
rare.
now. You just gave me new ideas.
Yeah, yeah. And then occasionally I'll sing too, but I always like preface that with, listen, guys, I'm not a great singer, so lower your standards. But I'll do it just to kind of bring something new to the stream, and yeah.
So have you been multi-streaming to other platforms as well?
Yes. So I have.
Sorry, I know I'm asking questions that I know, but it's for the audience.
Yes. So I've been multi-streaming to YouTube pretty much since the start of Kick. Since I started on Kick, because I do have a pretty, sizable. Well, I'm not that big, but it's big enough on YouTube to where like people will see that I'll catch at least some viewers that subscribe to me. And it's been great. I've actually pulled a lot of people from YouTube over to Kick. Nice. So I'll say, hey, like, you want to participate more in the chat? Come over to Kick. And so I do YouTube, and then I did Twitter. I've done Twitter now twice, and it's very weird. Honestly, it's kind of a weird platform.
Yeah, how'd that go? I did watch it. I kind of was on it in the mobile, but I was having issues. Like I couldn't get into the chat on mobile, and it was kind of glitching in and out. But then when I jumped on like the web page, like on Chrome or like, on the PC, it was way smoother and I could actually chat in. But what are your thoughts on that? I think, I agree.
Yeah, just a lot of kinks. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see, like, if it's worth it or not to have that going. I mean, it's just another chat window, so it's not like a huge deal. And then I just cannot decide on whether or not I want to restream to Twitch. I keep going back and forth. I cannot decide on that. Like, it feels wrong. I feel like
it does.
I'm like, ew, it feels gross. But then I also know I have so many people that are still following me, because I have like over 10,000, I can't remember, followers, 10,000 plus. So it was a pretty, I had a lot of people over there. But I only did like one stream to say, hey, I'm moving to Kick, and that was it. So I know there's probably still people who don't even realize I'm on Kick, and so I know I probably should, but I don't know.
How are you thinking of going about it? Like dual streaming at the same time, or doing like a stream over there for like a little bit?
No, I'm not doing that. No, like I'm not going to do like an exclusive Twitch stream for sure. Yeah, it would definitely be restreaming to Kick at the same time. And be like, with the hopes to pull people from Twitch over to Kick.
Yeah. And you were saying, I think I asked you this when I was helping you with some other OBS thing. You can turn off what you're streaming to midstream without closing something else out. Yeah, that's probably what I would do, because like I do remember like when I was first kind of coming over to Kick, I would do like these dual streams where I'd be like on Twitch for like an hour. Maybe 2 hours, and then move over and not raid anybody out, and then that was working for a little bit. And I don't, like you're saying, I don't think I'd want to do Twitch exclusive.
So I did I did that too, and I was on Mixer for a time also. Forgot to
kind of yes, we're gonna need to know more about this. Yes.
Yeah, so when Mixer opened up, I was intrigued. I was kind of irritated with Twitch because I couldn't get partnered on there.
What year was that? It was pre-lockdown?
2018.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 2018, because I was on there about 2 years. I loved my time on Mixer. Like, that was probably the most successful I've been was when I was on Mixer. Like, in terms of viewers and money that I earned. And I just loved the community. I really loved Mixer. I was super sad when it closed down. But yeah, so that's what I did though. I did like Twitch streams and would end it, say, hey, we're going over to Mixer now. And I did that for like a solid week. And so I started over at Mixer with a pretty good amount.
Nice.
So.
How long did you stream on Mixer for, up until it closed? When did it close down?
I think it was in June. I remember I was out at the beach, June of 2020. I believe.
Jeez. Yeah. I do remember when it shut down and everything. Were there any other streamers that have been on Kick, or any other streamers even from Twitch that made that jump over there with you, who was like all part of like the Mixer Music crew?
No one that was.
Wasn't Evan on? Was Evan on Mixer?
I think Evan was on there. He came on, I think, towards the end.
Oh, okay.
So no one that was really like sizable came over from Twitch. I think I was the only one who had a pretty big following, and then everybody else built up their followings on Mixer, and they all did great. But I don't really remember there being another Twitch musician. I might be totally like blanking on someone right now, but I think they were all like, I mean, they might have started on Twitch, but it was very small. I mean, I was lucky because remember, I was one of the first Twitch musicians, and it was Twitch at that point was super oversaturated, still oversaturated. So it's hard to get going on there now.
Yeah.
But like I had started so early that I did build up an okay following, you know? I mean, like, I don't know. All our standards are different. Like, I think it was a pretty good following, but I wasn't getting like hundreds of viewers, but I would get, you know, I would be hitting the 75 requirement, which was why I got irritated. I never got partnered, but that's fine. Twitch.
Yeah. I've heard of people even getting higher than that getting denied. And it's like, what in the hell is the point of having these requirements if you're gonna pick and choose who gets the check mark that literally, I guess, doesn't really do much anyway? But
yeah, I know. I mean, getting the nearly 100% sub revenue over here is so huge. It's so huge.
Absolutely.
It makes such a big difference. So yeah. So I went over to Mixer, was there for 2 years, then I went back to Twitch, and then came over to Kick.
Were you doing YouTube at all before Kick, or when you went to Kick is when you decided to also dual stream to YouTube at the same time?
I experimented with YouTube. I think I did like a couple of streams. It wasn't right before Kick though. It was prior to that. But not a lot, like 3 maybe tops. I don't know. And then I did like a stream on Reddit even once.
Oh, that's where Office Drummer actually got started, which is crazy to me. I remember finding that out. He was originally streaming on Reddit. Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that. How did those go?
Yeah. It was all right. I think I just got so used to, the streaming interface on Twitch is just so far superior, and Kick is modeled after that. So like the Reddit, it was just, the Reddit felt a lot to me like Twitter, which just like, I don't know.
Clunky.
Really. Yeah.
Not really well designed. Yeah. Not their forte, essentially. But
yeah.
That's good. So how do you like it over on Kick so far? Are you enjoying it over here? I mean, what do you what are your thoughts on where it started initially and where it is now? And what are you hoping for from Kick going forward?
I think it's been overall a positive experience for sure. Like, I definitely feel like I've made good friends, like you, Chavez, and lots of other people. So I feel like I like the other, like the camaraderie that I have felt, and I definitely feel seen and appreciated by Kick. Being featured on front page and being able to have communication with other Kick staff, and so I really like that too. And I mean, I'm hopeful, but I'm also a little bit guarded now because I feel like just because I have been around for a while and seen, Mixer shut down and problems on Twitch, and just knowing how streaming culture can get and how sometimes like a little loud mob can just ruin it for everybody.
God.
And so, I have like concerns about that happening on Kick because, I've just seen that happen so many times. But
I think that's why a lot of us have come over to Kick.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we don't have to really get into all this unless you want to get into it. But like, I went through I went through a massive I know you know this, but I went through a
Yeah.
massive cancellation, and that's really kind of what sparked my like, I'm done with Twitch.
Can you
I need
imagine
to be on Kick.
this kind lady went through a cancel culture? The Twitch society tried to cancel her. The Bungie community?
Yeah, the Destiny community.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. The community that embraced me and loved me now hates me.
This is insane. Literally insane.
It was a wild, surreal experience. Like, no joke, it's probably one of the weirdest things I've ever gone through. But
go ahead. If you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to.
I'll just give a very brief version of it. Basically, I just tweeted out that I was going to perform at GCX again, the convention I was talking about. GCX retweeted it. Glad to, excited to have her, whatever. I went in to go teach some piano lessons for about into a family's house. That was pretty large. So I was in there for maybe 2.5, 3 hours. By the time I came out, checked my phone had blown up. Some random, actually it was a streamer on Twitch, but a small streamer, it wouldn't matter.
They're jealous. Through
my following list on Twitter, looked to see who I was following. Saw that I followed an account called Gays Against Groomers, which is a LGBT group that is against transitioning kids.
As everyone should be against grooming. There should be no question on that.
Right, and that's the irony of it all, because I was like, oh, this seems like such this is great, because you don't want to see the LGBT community get dragged through the mud and lumped in with some of the really weird sickos out there too. You know what I mean? And so, or even T, because I have some friends that are trans also. But so when I followed, I was like, oh, this is a nice thing. So anyway, somebody saw that I followed them and then made a tweet about how could GCX have someone that's transphobic. And then everybody piled on, and GCX had already. So this all happened while I was teaching. GCX released a statement saying we want our place to be safe and inclusive. I'm like, seriously, come on. You think I'm unsafe? Are you freaking kidding me? And basically just invited me
with a bomb, y'all. She was gonna bomb in her grand piano.
What was so crazy about it is I have talked to all kinds of people have come up to my keyboard while I was playing music. Okay, I've had all kinds of people. I would never in a million years, if somebody came up and asked me to play Mario song, what, make them feel bad? Tell them they're a horrible human? That's not how I approach music at all. I feel like music is for all. I would never ever do it. And the organizers knew that, but they were scared of the mob. That's how it is now. People just, they just get scared of these crazy loud people. So anyway, but it really hurt me. Most of the streamers I was friends with would not talk to me. They unfollowed me. Some blocked me. I mean, these are friends I've had for years. I've roomed out with at events,
Wow.
I would talk to you on the phone, not just some random Twitter, people that I actually knew. I had real personal conversations with. Many Bungie employees unfollowed me. It was really so crazy. And I was like, wow, this isn't even for anything I tweeted. This is just for following an account.
It's
that
insane.
is freaking crazy. So anyway,
well,
that
you better
was
not
just
do anything in the future, because I'm going to cut all ties with you if you do anything crazy. Okay? Don't be following any crazy accounts now.
Oh,
that's insane. I'm sorry
what's so
you
crazy
had to go
is
through that.
I mean, I like to follow lots of accounts. Just because you follow an account does not mean you endorse every single thing they tweet. That notion is freaking ridiculous. So are they going to go through
every
person who's a part of their event and vet them? No, they're not going to do that.
And this is why when I was really confused at what to do and how to feel when the Ice Poseidon incident happened on Kick in September, because I was literally the next day from when that happened on a weekend. I remember the next day or 2 days later, I was going to announce going full time on Kick. And I was just so I know how the Twitch community is, or at least the friends that I've established over there are on a lot of their beliefs and where they stand on things. And I was just so confused on what to do. But at the same time, it's just all these people are just so hypocritical because, like if you're going to get that intense about, how can you stream on a platform where the CEO is doing this or they're allowing this and this to happen and blah, blah, blah. They're all tweeting this on what platform? X/Twitter. And guess who they don't like? Elon Musk. And whose beliefs do they not believe? Probably Elon Musk. Yet they're still tweeting and bitching about it on that platform. So it's just like, I can't even take you people seriously if you are going to suggest one thing to somebody else, but not even take your own advice. It's just, it really is a crazy culture. This cancel culture. It's really annoying.
It is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, prior to that, I will say I had made tweets about being against the COVID lockdowns and just bringing up like, look, there could be a lot of repercussions.
Oh, you mean the thing that they just deemed is equal to the 5-day flu or a flu, and you don't have to worry about the 5-day isolation anymore? The CDC just announced this, by the way.
Yeah. And then, like even with the vaccine, I was like, look, you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you don't. Like, it's your body, your body, your choice kind of thing. And so I had gotten a little bit of the cold shoulder from that. And that was about a year before. But I felt like I was kind of almost being like soft canceled by some people. And I did have a bit of an incident with another Twitch music streamer, which is why I really feel like about going back to Twitch, because anyway, there's like a group. It's like kind of the old Twitch streamers, I just kind of like some bad blood there. And it was weird because it was like a former friend, and I would never ever in a million years publicly try to humiliate someone that was a friend of mine, even at any point. I think that is like completely crossing the line. If I have a problem with someone, I will DM you and we will talk about it in DMs. I am not going to air that dirty laundry out. If you do that to me, like, you're dead to me. I'm done.
Yeah, 100%.
So like there had been some of that before, but I was still invited to GCX. I was still like friends with these people who were still following me on Twitter, all this sort of stuff. But then when that happened, that's when I felt like it just fell off. And now I feel like I've pretty much lost that community. There's still some people in that community that have kept in touch, but I don't really feel like that's my home at all anymore. But I've made a lot of really good friends from that too, that experience. So I mean, there has been a huge silver lining. Like I feel like the friends that I've made now are just way more genuine and just better people I want to associate with. And I mean, honestly, I made some really strong, like good connections in the composition world, like connections I wouldn't have made had I not gotten canceled, and they were better, bigger connections, like as far as like in terms of, furthering my career than any of the other streamers that disavowed me from before.
Well, that's good.
It's all worked out, but it's just still a really wild experience. And I do have that fear still over here on Kick. It's like, oh, please don't let Kick get that way too,
Yeah.
And I think that Kick has definitely started out sort of being more of a kind of a free speech platform. But if you don't really, really like make it very clear that that's what you are in the beginning and stick to it, companies are just gonna naturally go like, far left. Like they're just going to go that direction over time. And so I just worry, and I'm not even saying like I have to be far like right, but I'm just like, how about just middle,
Exactly. It should be no preference. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it just shouldn't
be
discussed. Like, politics, like it shouldn't be discussed with gaming. Like there's no reason,
Yeah.
And that's what was so weird about like performing music. Like, what is my view on when if a kid should have a sex change? How is that going to impact me playing the piano and connecting with people over music? It doesn't at all,
That's the whole thing too. It's like with the whole Ice Poseidon thing, it was like if you continued to stream on Kick, you were also a part of the problem. And it was just like so crazy that was. It was either black and white. There was either yes or no. There was no like in between. That mindset is just so crazy to me. But
a lot of the musicians on Kick, and a lot of, I won't like name names, but some of the ones that we lost were some of the ones that I had issue with already from before, when I felt like they were kind of coming after me a little bit, or at least behind the scenes. And so I knew that they would leave, and I feel like
Yeah.
let them go. You don't want them. You don't want them here where they're like, going to have a hissy fit over the tiniest little thing. Like that's toxic to community.
Because multiple things are going to happen because the magnifying glass is on the platform right now because it's growing. All this shit happens on Twitch. Do you know how many millions of viewers are on Twitch? Nobody bats an eye when something happens because it's handled like and covered up like that. But yeah, I just couldn't believe like how just the whole like one-sided argument. Just seeing all these people from Twitch that decided to make a ruckus about a platform they didn't even pay attention to, but because they saw some tweets about, they had to put their 2 cents in. And I'm just like, how can you allow something like that on the front page? This is exactly why the platform is a problem. Okay, all the shit, there's half the shit on the front page of Twitch I don't agree with. I don't think that there should be I understand you want to play these months where there's Black History Month, Women's History Month, Filipino History Month. Like, I get it, you want to play all these pandering methods to make it a thing, and I get celebrating it, but it shouldn't be like favoritism to only that. You should still allow like other people who aren't even associated with that have a chance on the front page. If kids are going on to Twitch and the first thing they see in the carousel when they're not even logged in is drag stuff or tranny stuff, like, I don't necessarily think that should be on the front page. Do I think it should be allowed to be streamed on that? Yeah, absolutely, those people should be allowed to stream. I don't have any problem with that, but my values don't really align up with that being what should be the first thing you see when you go to Twitch. I don't think like that should be the overall imagery, but I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion. But I just thought it was just so funny that it was just like calling the kettle black, is what their whole situation was, and
people
honestly,
just want to like get on their moral high ground,
absolutely. And the more I was realizing that, the more it was when I was kind of making some more decisions the next couple of days and was like, you know what, fuck it, I am gonna go stream full time on Kick to really kind of just give these people the middle finger, because it was just like I was so over their like soapbox preachings. It was just really frustrating.
Yeah, but I know.
Anyways,
I know. It's like
Chavez, a man that is savage and loves to stir up drama. What is going on, Mr. Chavez Flexington? How's it going, dude? They're all about absolutely, Spectre. Twitch is absolutely all about virtue signaling. Absolutely. Yeah, the double des action. We should have probably renamed the stream.
Double des. The double D's.
The double D's. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, do you think like the platform is, I mean, I know they've kind of re-upped some of the TOS stuff and whatnot, but do you still think it's in a good spot as far as not necessarily moving towards that virtue signaling like Twitch does, and kind of staying independent in their own self? Or do you think they're kind of making their way towards,
they're teetering on the edge? I think I feel like they have like 1 foot in and 1 foot out and all that. Like, they're not putting on events, but they're allowing other people to put on events, and then they are putting those events on the front page. Mm-hmm. So it kind of appears that Kick is doing it, but they're not really doing it, but yet they're giving it airtime. So it's not a really big, huge deal to me, but I don't know, it's just election years are always crazy and people just lose their freaking minds. Like, they just lose their minds. And so it's like, so quickly, it's like when all the BLM stuff was going on, like, I mean, within the Destiny community, people were getting mad at streamers. I remember I remember someone got mad at Dr. Lupo, who was a former friend of mine. I don't have anything bad to say about him, but it just, I think there are some big streamers that just were nervous with me, like when they're so big that like I don't think they intentionally cut me out because they don't like me anymore, but they just were nervous that people would come after them. So he was one of them. But
how ridiculous to have to live that, like, or even
I know
approach that.
I know. But what was I gonna say about him? But I remember like he came under fire because he was talking about the George Floyd stuff, but then it kind of teetered off, and then people were like, "Why aren't you still talking about George Floyd? You don't care about." And they came after him from like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like he's not doing it enough now. Like, look, let people just play their games, and like, how about we not have to make everything political and start pulling out the pitchforks because someone's talking about your issue, but it's not enough." Like,
Yeah.
it's never going to be enough. Like, there are people who are just going to be mad no matter what. So why do we cater to these nutcases? Why, Destro? Somebody answer that for me. It's such a small little group, you know? And so it's like, if we all could just stop doing that, all the platforms would be so much better. And that's what I hope will happen on Kick. I definitely feel better about Kick than Twitch. 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I do feel that Kick is trying to...
Go ahead, sorry.
I think Kick is trying to stay out of the fray, like on stuff, like, and not like. I don't really see Kick putting out, like, let's say if a George Floyd thing happened now, I don't see them really making a statement and putting something out. I think they've kind of, honestly, platforms should learn their lessons. All companies should learn their lessons by now and just learn to just shut the fuck up. Excuse me.
Wait,
I'm not streaming right now.
Are you saying that Kick should not change the K to a rainbow K when it comes to Pride Month?
Yes, I'm saying they should absolutely stay completely out of that.
How dare you? How dare you think that stupid, silly idea should not be done? Man, my favorite meme of that, I don't know if you've seen or know much about SpongeBob SquarePants, but Mr. Krabs, the restaurant he works for, is his boss, and he's obsessed with money. And there's like a meme. It's like, so why'd you do it? And he's like, money. And it just shows all of the company corporate logos all in their rainbow format, like surrounding him. And it's just so accurate. And then someone always drops a meme at the end of the month when it's the next month, and they're like, all right, and they just toss the logo in the trash kind of thing, because they really don't care. It's just all about money for them, and trying to market. It's so crazy that people,
well, I think the tide is turning. That. I know, but I think that companies are starting to realize, like, maybe this isn't, maybe it is better just not take a stand on anything. You know, like, how about you just focus on your product?
Right. Yeah.
Like, here's a thought, you know? So I do kind of wonder if Kick has seen that and realized, like, it's better just to not say anything. So I think I hope they stick with that. I think that I don't see them like for instance, my friend Melanie Mack, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's
on Side Scrollers, right?
Yeah. She's very big, like very, very big.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry, hold on. My kid is knocking on the door. I think my wife had to go pick up my other daughter.
Okay.
Look, I'm sorry. Keep telling your story. I have headphones.
Okay. So Melanie got canceled off of Twitch, or banned actually off of Twitch recently because she was talking about her religious viewpoints, her religious views on homosexuality. Okay, and she actually got banned. And see, I don't see her getting banned on Kick.
I do remember seeing you post about this.
Yeah. And you know, she wasn't like inciting violence. She wasn't whatever. She was expressing her viewpoints. And like, I think that there are a lot of religions, that not non-Christian religions, that share similar viewpoints that she had. And she's just talking about her religion. Whether or not you agree with it, it shouldn't matter. Like, she's not like saying like, hey, we need to go round up anyone who's gay and kill them and, like, you know, whatever.
See, but that's the problem, is everyone's like out. When you say something that's like against what people believe now, it's like, oh, you're entirely against me and the world, is like what everyone's like thought process becomes, and they legitimately don't want to be associated with anything like that, and anything that has an opposing opinion they think should be shut down and literally put out the pasture, essentially.
So I don't see her getting banned on Kick. However, I don't know if Kick would really promote her. And I don't know, maybe they have promoted her, I don't know. So I feel like, I don't know if they're going to go out of their way to promote like they'll go, like I feel like they'll promote people who are like on the political spectrum. They'll have no problem putting someone who's far left on their front page. But I don't know if they do that with the right, unless they're really, really big. Like, you know, the Aiden Ross territory, like where they're earning Kick a substantial amount of money.
Oh, you're talking about Kick. I was gonna say, I thought you were talking about Twitch. I was like, yeah, they would just ban them. They would just perma-ban them.
Yeah. So that's where I mean, where I feel like Kick is kind of they're kind of like teetering on that. Just like they're not. I don't think they're gonna come right out and ban anybody, but I also I don't know if they're gonna go out of their way to like really like promote them either. Yeah. Which is. Probably. I don't know. I guess that's their prerogative, and that wouldn't bother me. But then I just don't. I feel like there's this feeling like, well, they're not safe, but if somebody was the opposite of them, they would be safe, and that's the part that bothers me. It's like if this should be safe, then this should be safe too. You know what I mean? 100%. I don't know. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. But it does. Everyone should have equal opportunity to discuss their. I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, you shouldn't be going against TOS, but yeah, if you have something that's not going against TOS, you shouldn't be singled out and banned or shut down or even shadow banned or whatever the terminology they want to use nowadays. Like it's just, it's stupid, man. People need to really understand difference in opinion. This is why, like, the older I've gotten, like, I never took debate class, but I kind of wish that like debate class was like a mandatory like requirement in high school for everybody, because I feel like people don't know how to have a debate anymore. They don't know how to have a conversation. It's like if you say something that's what they deem as radical, they literally tune you out, and it's so crazy to me that that's how people think and process stuff. But I don't know. I always really loved like college essays, argumentative essays, where you always had to bring in multiple points on things. And I think I don't know if like colleges stopped doing those type of essays or whatever, but nobody knows how to do an argumentative anything anymore.
Don't get me started on the school system.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's another.
I've got 2 teenagers in high school, so I know what I'm talking about. But it is, and they actually go to the same high school that I went to, so I can see the difference. And
that's interesting. Yeah. So how's that? How's that been?
These teachers are horrible. Like, they're lucky though. They get one good teacher maybe per 9 weeks or per semester. They'll get like 1, maybe 2 if they're lucky. But they're morons. I mean, there are some teachers that are flat out morons. And if my daughter wouldn't be so embarrassed, I'd be down there complaining all the time. But like, I don't, because she's just so sweet. She would be mortified. So I don't, but I want to. Like, she comes home almost every day with some other story. And then the way that they just cater to the students is ridiculous. Like, these students have lost their freaking minds. They'll just have total meltdowns over the tiniest little thing, and the teachers will just completely cater to them. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. And it makes me mad, because my kids are all very smart. You know, like, they're all gifted kids. And so, like, they could be pushed and challenged, but, like, they're not learning. I mean, I would be homeschooling if I could, honestly. Or, you know, if I had the money, I'd put them in private school. But we kind of are where we are, and they've done the best they can, and they're great kids, and they're still, you know, smarter than most adults, I think, nowadays. But
Spectre says you get a trophy, and you get a trophy, and you get a trophy. Pretty much, dude. But yeah, well, so the kids are growing up. You're streaming on Kick, but you're also doing the honey business. What kind of goals you guys got going forward? What are your stream goals that you're trying to do going forward? Or, you know, what do you and Jason have going on with the honey business going forward? Your garden? What's going on with the garden? What are you going to be planting?
Well, behind me, this is just a flower garden, but we have 30 acres in a nearby town outside Tallahassee. And Jason had it before we started dating. And when we first started dating, he took me out to his land. He's like, look, this is my dream. I want to build out here. I want to like have a homestead. Like, I hope you're okay with this, because this is what I want. And, you know, and I honestly was not like a super outdoorsy person, but, you know, I was crazy about him. I'm like, hey, let's keep dating and like see where this goes. I'm not opposed to this. And then over time, like, that has become my dream as well. Like I love the land out there, love being out there. I've totally fallen in love with gardening and all of this. Like I've gone into his world, and I really really love it. And so yeah, I've when I first met him, he actually hadn't had any bees. He was just talking about beekeeping and saying it was something he really wanted to do. And so I was like, "Well, do it." And
then you
so
guys
he got
watched a
started.
bee movie. And
Actually, he's never seen a bee movie.
What?
I know.
What?
We've seen it. My kids and I have seen it. He hasn't seen it.
That
We're
movie's
like,
amazing.
I know. We've got. He has to see it. It's ridiculous. He hasn't seen it. But yeah. So the honey business has grown over years, and we have. I'm not even sure how many hives. Maybe 60 some. I'm not even sure. I have to ask him. But we have them. So we have a bunch out on that land, but then we have a bunch in Tallahassee, and we like. Jason will manage hives in people's yards. So some people want to have a beehive, but they don't want the work. They just want to have the beehive in the backyard and get the honey and let it pollinate their flowers. And I don't know, tell friends they've got a beehive.
What the hell?
So Jason ran with a very wealthy crowd in Tallahassee because he was actually super into cycling, and which is a pretty expensive sport. Like he did races and all kinds of stuff. So he's got like a lot of friends in town that are very well to do, and so a lot of those people like want to have the beehive, so they don't have the time to put into it, but they want to, they want to have the beehive. So like that's one of the ways he earns income is he'll have hives in people's yards and manage it, and they pay him to manage it. But he also he's worked out a bunch of deals with them, and so yes, we have hives like all over Tallahassee.
Do you have to like sign a liability thing before that? Make sure no one in the household's allergic. I'll fuck them. If they die, they die.
Let me tell you. Have you seen Parks and Rec?
What?
Have you seen Parks and Rec?
I've seen. I need to watch that show. I've seen pieces of that show, but I've been.
Oh my gosh.
That's the one with.
Yes,
with,
Destro. You have to see Parks and Rec. It's my favorite show of all time. Don't you lecture me about not watching movies when you haven't seen Parks and Rec. That is the best series.
This is a TV show. Do you know how many TV shows there are? That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It absolutely counts. I'm judging you harshly. Anyway, well, see, now you're not going to get this, but maybe people in chat will. But Ron Swanson is a character.
She hasn't seen Alien, y'all.
Shut up. Anyway,
throw you under the bus right now.
Ron Swanson, one of the characters, he's the best character on there, is basically my fiance. He hates like all stuff with the government. So when you ask about signing liabilities or any of that stuff, no. Jason's not going to be managing people's yards that are going to be like that sort. So they're all friends and stuff.
I
but
do
anyway,
know his character on that's Ron Swanson's your spirit, Lori. That's how Bill Burr is to me. Do you know Bill Burr?
Oh yeah, we love Bill Burr.
Yeah. That's literally everything he gets angry about is literally like, I swear he's in my brain. It's just the most accurate. Yeah. So good. But I've been waiting to watch that show because that's got Chris Pratt in it too, right?
Yes, he's so funny. Okay, but this is the thing though. The first season is a little painful, so you have to kind of still start at the beginning, but you're gonna have to suffer through it a little bit.
Nothing's more painful than the first season of Game of Thrones. Jeez, that's fucking. I tried watching Game of Thrones 3 times. That first season was so boring to me. I know people may love it now, and afterwards you're like, it's not that bad. But dude, initially that first season.
Game of Thrones.
What?
So I need to rewatch it. I watched it a second time. Yeah.
Yeah. But the first season was so much talking. Anyways.
I don't know. I think I like all the character development.
I mean, I like it now. I'm just saying the first season took me. I tried getting into it more than once.
Yeah, but and torture and all that stuff.
It sets the precedent. Yes, Ghost is correct. Yes. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like season 1. I'm just saying it's a little more. I don't know. Never mind. I'll stop talking. Cool. Well, I mean, I know it's late where you're at, and you've been dealing with a headache all day. Is there anything else that you want to chat about? Does anybody in the chat have any important questions that won't get our lady Desiree canceled over here? Let's see.
Well, I can finish telling you. I guess I didn't really quite finish telling you about the goals. I can finish that question. Kind of got off on tangent there.
Sorry.
So no, it's okay. I got off on tangent, but we want to build out on that land and have like a homestead out there eventually. So that's like our big goal. I don't know how soon we're gonna be able to do that, but probably not horses. Horses are actually really, really, really hard to keep. Like,
and they smell.
You really need to know what you're doing. I would love to have horses. I love horses, but we do want a cow for sure. Like, that's gonna be very soon.
I need a scentless horse if I was to get a horse.
A what horse?
A scentless. I can't stand the smell. Scentless. I can't stand the smell. They smell like so bad. Horses, they just smell so bad.
I love the smell of stables.
Stables, when they're not full of shit. Yeah, I guess, but like all the horses I've always been around, it just smells like horse shit always. I don't know. Maybe I've just had bad luck around the horses I've been around. Anyways.
So yeah, so we want to homestead in a couple years. As far as streaming goes, I mean, I would like to I always kind of compare it to like, okay, like when I think about how much I'm earning, like, okay, is it getting close to what I make for teaching? You know, I would love to be able to feel like it's on par with teaching and be able to cut back my studio a little bit further. Like, I would really like to do it. Just not a whole lot, but like if I could get down to like 20 students, I think that would be great. And do some more streaming if I felt like the income was there. So, you know, of course you just have like goals of getting more subs and all that sort of thing to build up that base. And then I would like more composition jobs too. And I would love to get more into composing as I get older, because I don't know, like, I mean, is that gonna be weird to be streaming in front of a camera? Like, if I'm in my 50s, is that weird? Your 60s?
Okay, you don't have this problem because you already look young, and everyone says this already.
I'm not gonna stay looking young, and you know, like it's
I
fading
think
fast,
sometimes
Destro.
too. I'm like, I just turned 35, and I'm just like, right now I'm like a full-time content creator, and I'm like, bro, as soon as my hair starts graying in, no one's gonna give a fuck how many songs I can play. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of scared. So I guess I don't know. I'm trying not to think that much in the future.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, the thing is, like, my dad was performing literally up until like 3 weeks before he passed away. He was still performing, and he would still have concerts and stuff. So
see, people don't care concert-wise. It's so much different in a streaming setting. You know, these like
maybe we haven't really ventured into that. Like, this is my hopeful side, right? Is thinking like, well, we say that now because we aren't used to seeing older people because we're still like the first generation of it. But maybe, you know, your audience will age with you and you will be able to keep doing it, you know? I don't know. I don't know.
You guys better not leave when I get my gray hairs.
I already have
it all
gray
you guys
hairs.
Now.
I've got a patch of gray hair. It's just hidden.
They slowly are coming into my beard, and I'm killing them as quickly as I can.
Shoot, I started getting gray hairs when I was 20. In this one little spot, I've got like a streak. Jason loves it. He's like, do not dye it. I know, he's always. Well, I still have it. You'll
like a rogue gray streak.
Wait, hold
you
on,
remember in X-Men?
Can you see it right there?
Oh, I do see it. You should like fucking make it silver and just like rock it.
Yeah, I know. That's
why.
No, I am not giving in yet. No.
People like crazy hair dyes.
I'm cheap. It's just not dyed because I'm cheap right now, not because I like it. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Like I want the streaming to grow and be more profitable. And I would like to compose more. And I don't know. I'm pretty flexible as far as my goals go. But I definitely want to keep doing some kind of performing. I feel like it's 100%. Nice to have performing, teaching, and writing is all like a good combination for me.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get into doing guitar lessons, but I'm really trying to figure out how that's gonna work, because I'd be doing online guitar lessons, so I realize not everyone's technology is gonna be the same. So trying to figure out that and like what I would have to do in those situations, but
yeah, you definitely should do that. My sister is in California, and she I had to do Zoom lessons like when we were on lockdown for a little while here in Florida. I hated doing Zoom lessons though, like with my students. I did not like it. But those are like young students, like had no attention span. Some of them were okay, but some of them were just a nightmare. But my little sister teaches out in LA, and they like, I mean, California's crazy. So they were all still like, oh,
California's crazy. What do you mean?
They
That
were
state
doing all
is
the COVID
perfect.
they were doing all the COVID lockdown stuff for a long time. But then it's just like, actually this is kind of convenient because I don't really want to travel and all this crazy traffic, and everybody just stayed online. So she just teaches all her students online now. And she's like, and she does it all the time with piano, and she does voice too. So you could definitely do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be good in multiple ways. Like, just to also, one is a source of income, but two, just kind of like, it's new territory. So like you said, like trying to adapt with your students and figuring out new things. I'm sure you learn a lot of things about yourself when you're going through those type of phases. So I'm always, it's crazy as at 35 you're still trying to learn about yourself, but man, it seems like I'm always trying to learn more about myself more now than I was in my 20s. I don't know if it's because life is just hitting you too fast, and you're too distracted by other things that aren't important or what, but yeah.
And you start concentrating on what's important in life, and yeah, getting older and wiser, Destro.
So we got some conventions coming up in the future. Are you going to be going to DreamHack Atlanta in October?
Yeah, probably so.
Cool. I would like to go to Dallas, but I don't think it's going to happen.
That's the one that's in May.
I think so. Yeah.
May is a really hard month for me because like I got my recital for my students. It's Mother's Day. My birthday is also in May. Like it's just end of school. So I don't think May is going to be able to work out for me, but yeah, October I should be able to do that.
Yeah, I do have some like friends from Twitch asking me about TwitchCon, but I don't know if I'm gonna go to that either, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Vegas was kind of unique. Like I don't know. I've been to San Diego enough. Like I used to live in Southern California, so I don't know. Like San Diego's cool and all, but I don't know. There was something cool about going to Vegas. I hadn't been there when it was in Vegas last year. I hadn't been to Vegas in like over a decade, which I didn't realize until I actually got to Vegas. I was like, damn, it's been that long. It's so crazy there now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for DreamHack Atlanta. Definitely excited for that. Last year was an absolute blast. What were some of your favorite moments at DreamHack this past December? And I'm sure there was a bunch of them
that I could share online on our stream.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything was that crazy. Not that anything any of us did. Fucking Fat should be in the crazy one. Jesus, almost getting us kicked out of fucking Applebee's, bro.
Dude,
what the fuck?
Pretty wild. It was pretty wild. That was embarrassing. No, it was funny.
Oh yeah, you did keep me safe. That's right. I almost died.
I did.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if I can. I didn't know if I could share that or not.
I don't give a shit. I'm lay it all on out. I want to know your perspective. Tell me the first person from you. I was so fucked up.
He was like a zombie, y'all.
I was dead.
He was like this.
Yeah. I'm good at walking with my eyes closed as long as someone's guiding my back.
Like for like a good 20 minutes, maybe all the way to the car walking out. We were just like guiding him.
Yep. Oh, dethroned.
It hit you so fast though, because you're like fine 1 second, then you're like completely gone.
Because I took an extra edible like an idiot. Yep. I took an extra edible that night when we were at the bar, and it fucking did me in. I was, as soon as it hit, like 30 minutes later, I was so done.
Oh, it was pretty funny. No, that was really fun though. That night and the night before was so fun, just going to all the bar hopping and yeah, I mean, I had a great time. I had a really good time.
It was good. I didn't know what to expect, but it was definitely, the Airbnb was not as crazy as I thought. I was a little worried at first
It was too. I thought it was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get any sleep, or
Yeah.
how bad is this gonna be?
Well, you didn't get that much sleep, but yeah.
We're not gonna talk about that, but yeah. That actually sounds really bad. But let's just leave it at that. It's not what y'all are thinking. So
I'm a bad influence.
yes, very bad influence. So actually, no, one of the highlights was for me was just driving around the car with you and Matt and Chavez. When the four of us were in the car, for I think it was the first day, like for a while. Like that was just so fun because that was when I really got to know all of y'all, and you know, just I feel like our friendships were formed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really fun. I enjoy. I like having good conversation, like deep conversation, more than just surface level. Like there's so much surface level conversation.
I suck at surface level conversation, and I feel like that's where I failed with kind of meeting some other content creators, other streamers on Kick, because I suck at kind of breaking that initial barrier, but then like once I do, like I won't shut up kind of thing.
I feel like I'm not bad at making the small talk, but I get very exhausted by it. I don't really enjoy it. Like I want to just go in and be like, tell me all your hopes, dreams, and fears, and like let's go. Let's get into this. You know, that's the conversation I want to have. But you know, not everyone is as open as I probably am, and gotta kind of work up to that. But but yeah, so I liked just hanging out with you guys because I felt like we could have like actual good conversation, and but I enjoyed meeting other people too. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. It was really fun.
It was.
I don't know if there was like a certain
the wing
moment,
night was awesome. We got so many wings.
Yeah, those wings were yummy too.
Those wings were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, God, man, we partied so much that weekend too. It was like it went by so fast. But I'm glad that DreamHack Atlanta this year is not going to be December. December was a horrible time to have done it.
I know. That was I felt a lot of guilt over that because I was so close to Christmas.
Yeah, I did too. But well, I'm excited for next year or this year. So when are you going to be streaming next? What's your schedule like? Let's let everybody know when you're live. And guys, if you guys aren't following her on those links up above in the pin message, make sure you guys hit those follows.
Well, I stream mornings. Not a lot of people are on in the mornings. So when you wake up, turn on Kick and turn on my channel, I'm probably on then. So Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursday mornings. My goal is to be live by 9 a.m., but a lot of times I'm running late and it's closer to 10 or 9:30, but at Eastern time, so not Central. And usually I try to go for about 3 hours. So I'm usually live anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. After 3 hours, I start to get really pretty tired at the piano. So if the energy level is really high and I have time, then I'll keep going. But if it's like kind of dying down a little bit, I usually will just go ahead and stop around 3 so I don't push myself too hard. That's like the tough thing that I think a lot of non-music streamers don't really realize is like it is hard to play an instrument
100%.
for hours on end. You know, you can sit and play a video game
forever
in your comfy chair, but like
yep.
like right now I'm sitting on a piano bench. I have like so many back issues from just sitting on a piano bench for so long, you know. So yeah, usually between 9 and 12 Eastern time is kind of sometime give or take an hour.
Make sure you guys are checking her out. Yes, go check her out, guys. She is absolutely amazing. I'm telling you, you're not going to find another person that knows more video game soundtrack music than this lovely lady right here. It's not.
I don't know if that's really true, but
100% is true. I don't care. 8-bit drummer can play over all the things he wants, but he's just playing a drum beat. He's not actually playing the notes of the song. So I'm sorry. I have not. You know, and it's crazy. Like I was kind of looking back at some of your old footage when I was pulling up some of the. You should, Foul. You should. I was kind of looking back at some of your old footage that was probably from like early Twitch days and things like that. And I'm wondering, like, I bet I probably came across your channel at one point, and this is the problem with Twitch. Twitch had trained my brain so much that I was just like, it ain't a fucking guitarist, I'm gonna move on, and never like hit that follow button or stayed around. And I'm just so glad that like Kick has kind of kicked that mentality away from me, and like definitely allowed me to hang out with other instruments as well as other genres, and even other categories in streaming. So I'm so glad to have met you over here on Kick. And I'm excited for some collabs. We're gonna definitely, if you guys saw our collab in Christmas, she absolutely crushed it on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra song that we did. Val wants to hear me play a beat. Yo, Foul, I don't need to prove anything. Just go Google 2005 fastest feet NAMM show. And I'm going to pull up right there as third place. Did you know that I entered you know what a NAMM show is, right? That convention with all the music, like all the music companies go to every year out in Anaheim.
Oh, yes. Actually, I do know that. Yeah.
So in 2005, our drummer, he actually had his own booth there because he made drum cases. My drummer's dad told me that I needed to enter the fastest feet contest because I had really fast like double bass feet, and the first place prize was a whole like a full pearl drum set with like Zildjian cymbals and all this other shit, and I wanted a drum set so bad. I placed third in this competition and lost by only 8 or 10 hits behind the first place guy that was the actual drummer. All the drummers, when they were like asking me about my like kits and stuff, they're like, what kind of kit do you play and all this stuff? I'm like, I'm a guitarist. They're like, what the fuck, why are you even doing this? But yeah, third place, only won a practice pad with no drumsticks to even practice with, so that was interesting.
Learn to play the organ.
The organ?
Yeah, because you use your feet for the organ.
Oh,
you use it, that's how you play like
they
the
use their feet and their hands? That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, so you play like the keyboard section up here, but then on where your feet are is like a giant keyboard, and you play the notes, like the really low notes will go like with your feet, activates them.
So is there more pedals than what a normal piano has?
There's like I'm trying to remember. There's like a pedal just like kind of for volume, and I think there might be another one like for like a swell or something. But yeah, the pedals don't function like the piano pedals do at all. So, yeah, when I was at church, they would always ask me to play the organ like for the church meeting, but I didn't actually play the organ. I just kind of like faked it. I never did the feet stuff at all.
Did you ever listen to Boston? The classic rock band? They always had a lot of cool organ stuff.
Yeah. I really hated playing the organ, to be honest, because it's like it's just a weird the way that.
So like, I assumed the first song you ever played or attempted to play on the organ was Phantom of the Opera, right?
No, it was some church song. I don't think I've ever played Phantom of the Opera actually on the organ.
Oh, I feel like that would be
the only time I've ever played the organ
is
in church. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a little like disrespectful to be like at a church service and all of a sudden start playing dun 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 dun.
That'd be so cool.
That would be pretty funny. Maybe I do need to do that. I haven't been to church in a while, but now you give me a good reason to go back.
Yeah, exactly. Just pop that song in and they'll be good. All right, y'all. Well, I think we'll let Lady Desiree get out of here, let her get some sleep so that she can stream for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you guys are giving her a follow, and let's get another shout out for her. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I definitely appreciate it.
It was so fun. I enjoyed it.
And you know, I'll be in the stream tomorrow, and we'll have to get a collab going here, something with piano and guitar.
For sure. Thanks to everyone in chat. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate y'all hanging out.
We got to find somebody to host. Who should we host into? Do you want to pick? You got anybody on? We can do, let's see, how many musicians are on? Wow, there's so many people playing games right now. I don't really have a lot of musicians on. Even Song DeLong's playing games. Everyone's playing games.
We're just chatting. Actually, I've got a friend that's doing live music. I don't know if he does like DJ stuff. Rick Vieira.
Oh, I don't have him. Well, let me find him.
I wonder if he just started because he doesn't. It says he has 0 viewers. Let me. Yeah, I think he might. Did he just end or is he just starting? I can't tell. I think he might have just started. Yeah.
Hey, how's his last name spelled? I see another Rick Vieira and it says no followers.
Ricviera.
Oh, okay. There's one. I was doing Rick with a K. Okay, cool. All right, let's do it. Let's go host in. All right, you got anything else to say to the people on our way out?
Not really. Just
don't get canceled,
music is
y'all.
Awesome. Don't get canceled and believe in the power of music.
All right, y'all. You guys take care of yourselves as always.
Be excellent to each other.
And
party on, dudes.
let's love everybody. Peace.